Okay, Saurav. So thank you for being this interview. So we're going to record a video just for scientific purposes, and we'll also delete the recording after the interview following the scientific standards. So after the interview, you will receive an online survey. After completion, you're going to see the results of the survey. So the research question about this is, how does the IronHack as a virtual hacking competition process facilitate the hacker's development process? So the objective of this is create a narrative of the process from the start to the final submission. So the first question would be, so if you look back 3 weeks to the first info session of the IronHack, what made you want to participate?
I think the day I attended the first information session, I was pretty excited with the fact, like compared to other IronHacks or like compared to other hackathon competitions, which I have seen, is like I was pretty happy that it's a 3-week process. So it's not something that you have to finish everything in one day or like 48 hours, something like that. So you have ample amount of time to show something really good. And another good part was, like, since I am interested in big data, and this hackathon was like involving all the open data resources, so it kind of attracts a lot of people, because open data, as you know, like it's a pretty in buzz right now, and a lot of research has been going on this. So it kind of attracted me from that point of view.
Do you make use of the training material?
Yes, of course. I mean, to start with, it was a good starting point. Like for the first, especially for the first submission, when like you feel kind of lost between the finding the how should you frame your solution to the problem.
What got you started with the hackathon at the very beginning?
Like, okay, so I like started with searching what are the existing solutions to the problem, and like there were already some recommendations given in the information session, so I checked them, and then I started planning my stuff, like how I should present my solution to this problem, what resources I should use. Yeah, so that was the starting point.
Okay, so describe the process, how you worked on the first step before the first submission deadline. So what barriers you encountered, something like that.
Okay, I mean, for the first submission, my challenge was to finalize the design. Like, I was not sure about like how my landing page should look like, because I had to create a mashup. So it was like I was not very sure. Like, so I actually changed my design after the first submission. So the design I had, by the second submission, I was like kind of very sure. So what I wanted to be, so I changed a little bit from the first submission to the second submission.
Okay. Tell me, how about your hacking process during the 3 days from the start of the hacking phase until you submitted? When did you work during the day? Where did you work during the day?
No, I most of my work was like during the night, because like during the day I don't get much time from the research. So yeah, I mean, mostly I work during the night and most of my submissions. Yeah.
And where were you at that time?
In lab sometimes, or sometimes at home.
Okay. And then how do you use GitHub?
Okay, so I was pretty comfortable using GitHub because I already use it for like coding in my research. So I was comfortable using GitHub, and yeah, it's very easy to use. So.
But you work offline, or you document everything?
Okay, so I didn't committed all the code like when I was working. So I used to commit like one day before the deadline.
Okay.
So yeah, I was working offline, and I used to commit my code before submission.
All right. And tell me, how you integrated the libraries, D3.js?
Okay, so to integrate the D3.js, I looked at the example that was given, so how it was implemented and all, and I had used it a few times before, so I had some idea from the past. But yeah, the main challenge was like, which graph do you use which graph is actually the best representation of your data that you want to show. So yeah, it took me some time to change the graphs, and the library is pretty straightforward. Like the functions are very well defined, and using the examples, I was like pretty sure like how to use them.
Okay, and how many iterations did you make before submitting your first submission?
Maybe 5, 6.
On the first round?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have any kind of difficulties in submitting?
I didn't have any problems with the submission process. It was pretty straightforward. As I said, like the only challenge was like I was not pretty sure about the design. So that was the only challenge.
Okay, but was that or anything else holding you back from submitting?
No, I think I was like pretty sure about the process, which was explained in the first session. So I was like kind of very sure about what to do.
So on the second submission, describe the process how you worked on your second app before the second submission deadlines. So how was the second submission?
So after the first submission, we got the feedback from the like the judges, and we like I saw the other projects which were uploaded and which were submitted. I got an idea like what people are doing, and from the feedback of judges, like it was pretty good. Like I got an idea that what are their expectations, what are the scales they are looking up to, and how should I proceed further. So in my next submission, I tried to progress in a progressive, like I made an incremental approach, so that like I added some portions in the design, some portions in the backend coding, like getting the data on the board. So yeah, I mean that was my approach, because I planned for next 3 submissions in equal parts. That was my plan. I didn't want it to like submit at the end.
Did you ask for help? For friends, professor, online search?
No. Nobody.
Nobody helped you, or you didn't ask for it?
I didn't ask for any help. I just used to discuss what I'm implementing with my lab mates. So like I'll tell them this is what I'm doing, but I didn't want it to take any help. That would be not good.
All right. So what was the most difficult part on the second round?
The second round, I started collecting the data from different sources, like the climate data online, and as my objective was to merge it somehow with the disease data set from the CDC website. I started collecting data and tried to analyze like what are the common elements that I can use to merge the data and make some sense out of it. Yeah, that was pretty intense.
So the feedback from the judges, the score, the evaluation, did make an impact on the second round?
Yes, definitely. I mean, from the feedback, not only in second or third phase, like all the phases, it was pretty helpful, because you know where you are going and in which area you need to improve, because I couldn't see like where my percentile was down and where I need to improve and which part I'm going right. So yeah.
Okay. The third submission. Describe the process how you worked on the third app before the third submission deadline. Tell me how was the process of the third submission?
So for the third submission, I focused on getting the data in, like, my goal was to show somehow my logic of the traveling process. Like, the app was, I made a app in which you can put the source and destination, so it will show the map. It will show you the route on Google Maps, and then you can see, like, the weather on the entire route, like what's the elevation and all. And then my objective was, like, how I can bring the disease data set in combination with this. So I actually took two approaches. One was to use Twitter data to show the real-time analysis of diseases in any particular location. I reached till a point, but my problem was, like, I didn't have enough tweets as data, because, like, Twitter has some limitations of downloading tweets per day. So probably I didn't had enough data, so I could not, like, make a good analysis from that. Then I came back to the CDC data set and started digging from that, which was pretty helpful. Like, I figured out which column from the data sets I can use, and I merged it with the climate data. And yeah, I was successful in showing the first graph from both the data set. Yeah.
Okay. So, what about the libraries with D3 at that moment?
So I was using d3.js to show the radar graph, because I thought, like, the scales that I was trying to show, like, from the user location to the user feedback and the disease level. So I made, like, 5 or 6 scales based upon which I created the radar graph. So yeah, I mean, I thought radar graph was a good depiction of what I was trying to show.
Okay, and on this in this round, how was the feedback from the judges?
So after the third round, I got, like, pretty good feedback. So I was like, okay, now I think I can make it to the finals. I should push hard, and yeah, from the feedback, like, I got some motivation.
Okay.
that I should work hard now. I think I can make it to final 3.
Great. Anything holding you back?
No,
not at all. The other way around. Yes, keep pushing you,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
The motivation. So, did you make use of any material from the training during this process?
So yes, so, like, I saw that there was a variation of radar graph in the training material. I used a different training material. I used a different radar graph, like, it was a variation. But yeah, the idea of using radar graph was from the training material.
Mm-hmm. How many iterations did you make before submitting?
Like in the third phase?
Yeah.
Again, I think 6-7 times. Yeah.
Okay. And as closing remarks, how do you experience the overall 3-week hacking process?
I think it's pretty good because when you deal with big data problem, I think to develop a nice application in big data is not a 48-hour job. It should be, like, it's an incremental process. It's a progressive process. So because when you start digging into the data, you find some insights, like, when you spend time. Like, it cannot be, like, in a day or two. So I like the approach of doing it this hackathon in 3 weeks, so that you have time to analyze the data. You see some matchings, patterns, and then you can make some sense out of it, and then you do your coding. Because I think the big data problem is different from other hacking problems.
Okay. What were the general learning outcomes from the hack?
I think the best part was to merge multiple data sets in a meaningful way, because normally what I deal with is like I have one large data set, mainly the mashup part, like you have to merge different data sets and bring a meaningful sense out of it. That was something really good.
Yeah. Is there anything you would have done differently if you ran the IronHacks?
I think if I was virtually running this IronHack, one approach could have been like really good. I could have given two different approaches, like the web application and the mobile application. I could have made
Why?
it separate. I know, like nowadays, the websites are built in such a way that they are mobile compatible, but the challenges of developing a mobile application are different. So, and I'm not sure, but like people have different skill set. Like some people are good in web applications, some are good in mobile apps. So I would probably make two different hacks, or two different submissions for web and mobile apps.
Okay, great. Compare the IronHack to other hacks on campus and the traditional hacks. What's the main difference?
3-week submission process. I don't think the other hackathons give this much of time. Most of them, I think, are 48-hour job.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Not really. Like it was a good experience. Like I would definitely want to participate again, maybe, because every time you learn, you tackle a different problem. You find something good. So yeah, it was a good. Overall, it's a very nice learning process. Yeah.
Okay. Saurav, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.